What's up guys, Swordsman here, and today I'm going to be doing a multiplayer review of Medal of Honor Warfighter. Before we get too far along, I'd like to say this review is provided in part by Gamersgate.com. Download games anytime, anywhere. Full disclosure, I was just minding my own business the other week. I was down in Orlando, Florida on vacation, having a good time. And I got an email that came across my cell phone, and it was G2PO saying they were looking for people to pick up some review copies of Medal of Honor and give it a spin. Now, initially, I wasn't really going to buy this game. I wasn't too interested in it. I had some interest. I thought it might be neat. Then I started seeing the feedback that was coming in from the beta players, and it just didn't seem like things were jiving all that well. But the G2PO email came across. I figured, let's give it a shot. I responded. I got myself a review copy. And after 11 days, well, I guess 9 days, since I was still on vacation before I got in here to play it, I've played the game a fair bit, and I've got some mixed reviews to give to you guys. Hopefully this will be a reasonably fair and balanced approach. That way you guys can maybe decide for yourself based on my input if you want to get it. If you haven't gotten it yet, you might be on the fence a little bit. Maybe my opinion will steer you one way or the other. We'll see. But as always, just take what I say with a bit of grain of salt, do some of your own research, and just don't buy something and don't buy something just because I said it or any other reviewer says something. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to start with the things that I like. Now, if I would have made this review 2 days after I first played it, I'd be here trashing the game pretty hard. It had a fairly brutal start, at least in my experience. It's a bit... You go into it maybe expecting one thing, but you realize it's not quite that, but it's not quite... You know what? It's a game that I think can best be summed up by an average game suffering from an identity crisis. It's got a little bit of Battlefield 3 in it, it's got a little bit of Call of Duty in it, and in some sense it almost has a little bit of Homefront in it. So players that liked Homefront, all 12 of you, might actually end up enjoying Medal of Honor Warfighter a fair bit. So, those have been my initial impressions after a few days, but let's start talking about how I came to some of those conclusions. I really enjoy the Fireteam mechanic. I thought that was a very cool breath of fresh air into the FPS genre. I think it's very well implemented overall. I like that your Fireteam partner can heal you, it can resupply you. I like that you can always see its outlines, that way you know where they're at, where they're looking, which way they're coming. It's not just a different colored dot on a mini-map anymore. That is a very good idea, and I would definitely love to see future games in different franchises maybe, I don't know, blatantly rip that off in the future to help you outline and keep track of your squad mates. I think that is a very awesome idea. I do like that you can spawn on your Fireteam partner. That's sort of like the Battlefield franchise and a couple other games where you can spawn on people, but I think they actually have it perfect. I would love to see Battlefield 4 or Battlefield Bad Company 3. Yeah, right, if that ever gets made. Oh god, I missed that game. I missed BC2. Any BC2 fans out there? I don't know. But I think they nailed the spawning on a teammate thing. You can only spawn on one person. And if that person is in combat, it takes a hell of a lot longer to spawn on them than it would be to just pop out of their asses instantly. Even if they're not in combat, it does take a bit of time with your death spawn retimer, so I think they actually nailed the teammate spawning nearly perfectly as far as I'm concerned. I would love to see that implemented into future games that want to include spawning on teammates. Looking at you, PlanetSide 2, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. Some other things... I enjoyed some of the new game modes. I mean, sure, you got the TDM, you got the Domination, which is called Sector Control. Those are the bread and butter of the FPS community lately. But I really did enjoy Hotspot. You could say there's some correlations to some other game modes that we've seen over the years in other games, and you're probably right. Maybe a little bit like Headquarters, so to speak, but I did enjoy Hotspot. Home Run was also something very new. I've never really played anything quite like it. I didn't quite enjoy it very much. It's not my cup of tea, but I respect the fact that I did get to try something that I've never actually played before quite like that, so that was very cool. It's definitely a neat idea. I'm just glad it was available there. Some sort of some sort of new thing pushing forward, a new game mode for people to enjoy if they do like it more than I did. It's just nice to have some new game modes. A lot of times you'll see a game that's like, oh, AAA, FPS, we got all this stuff, and then they have like 3 game modes. It's like, come on, really? There's just 3? I mean, come on. So that was pretty nice. You had a variety of stuff there. I will say another positive I really liked was the smooth controls. I thought it actually had reasonably smooth controls while still implementing a fair bit of recoil with the guns. It's not one of those games where you just want to hold down the trigger or hold down the left click in my case and just spray and pray. You really won't be rewarded all that well in Medal of Honor Warfighter if you do that. And like compared to the same engine, I thought Medal of Honor Warfighter, when it comes to just gunplay, just strictly gunplay, had smoother controls than Battlefield 3. Some people may disagree with that, but that is my findings. I thought they were just smoother overall in response in how they felt. I also liked the party system. I thought that was pretty good. I guess I was mostly amazed at the fact that it actually worked on release. Like, you put people into a party, you lock your slot, and all of a sudden, hey, you're in games together. That it was functional. It may not be the most intuitive system to go through, but it works. It's very solid. Not like we saw on Battlefield 3 during its launch with trying to manage a party that was an absolute clusterfuck. COD probably has party management pretty locked down, but Medal of Honor's party system was pretty solid as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. The graphics I found were just fine. I'm not a super huge graphics person. They look nice, sure, but graphics don't mean everything. They just really don't to me, but they look fine. The maps were reasonably colorful. They weren't that trap of like, oh, it's just grays and various shades of browns. You know, it didn't quite go that route. There's some bit of color, and the maps looked fine. Map design, on the other hand, could go a little bit either way. There are a few maps where it is quite easy to be spawn trapped. Before you even know it, really, just a minute in, 2 minutes in, all of a sudden the enemies are like in your face, and your spawns don't seem to really change in many of the game modes, if any, I don't think. So you're just kind of stuck in one spot, and once they get set up, it can be very brutal to try to get out. And I'm not a fan of spawn traps. I'm sure the big YouTube stars love them for their high scores, you know, but they're just not fun for me. I get bored if my team's doing the spawn trapping or if it is being spawn trapped. So not quite so keen on some of the map designs. Some of them are quite good, though. Following up with that, I think the weapon balance could have used a little bit more tinkering. I could probably foresee a patch in the future coming along. I think after a few days, you quickly see which guns are heavily represented and which ones aren't. The 416 varieties are very powerful, very popular. As soon as any sniper gets the TAC 50, that seems to be all they run for the one-shot kills in the majority of situations. I don't know. I just think the weapon balance could use a little bit more time in the oven to finish baking. It's not quite there, but it's not horribly absurd either. So every now and then you get a sense where like you're firing at somebody, like you literally have your sight on target, and you just get the feeling that you've used half your clip, but like another time you can see that you're at full health, you know, but it seems like just one bullet and all of a sudden you're done. When the headshot modifier, it really isn't that high in this game. I was quite surprised when I went about looking that up. I think it's, oh god, I should have memorized this, but I think it's less than Battlefield 3's headshot multiplier, which wasn't that high either. So I don't know. It's just that sudden feeling sometimes. Maybe it's the hit registration on yourself, the hit notification that you're taking damage is so fast. Not quite sure. I thought the weapon customization, while decent, was kind of awkward. I wasn't a big fan of the cosmetic-only pieces. I thought they were just artificial filler to help lengthen the process out to keep you from the good stuff that you really wanted. They did do a fairly good job at identifying, like, this set of things will do these stat changes, this group beside this one will change it this way. You know, I thought that was fine, but I don't know, do we really need 4 different types of muzzles just to change the look of it when they don't actually change any functionality? You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe you guys like to go crazy designing your weapon to look exactly how you want it, but that just really wasn't my cup of tea. Didn't quite enjoy that very much. But I could be wrong, you know. I don't know. The game itself just seems a little bit unfinished. It could have benefited from a few more weeks. But I do understand and recognize that it had to hit that sweet spot with the timing of games. It couldn't have been after Halo 4 and Black Ops 2. The sales definitely would have been even worse than they were already, and the sales have been pretty damn awful so far. Enough so that between the critical reception, which is quite poor, and the sales numbers, this could be the very last Medal of Honor title for at least the foreseeable future when they shelve this franchise. As somebody that played the original Medal of Honor titles, that could be a little sad, but I don't know. It is what it is, I guess. The people just don't seem to be taking to their beloved Medal of Honor Warfighter very well. Another thing I didn't like, and now this is something that some people may disagree with me on. I thought that the explosives were a little bit spammy. I know Decruatheo, he did his review, and I've talked to him a little bit about this. He doesn't think the explosives are spammy at all, but in my findings, at least lately, the longer the game has gone on, people have figured out what classes can spam the explosives with the Assault Noob Tubes and the Demolition Man C4 combined with his first reward streak with that, I forget the name, you have to excuse me. It looks like a striker, but it just launches Noob Tubes really fast, and they're so powerful. I don't know. But, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it does seem like trying to play an objective, you're just getting hammered by explosives nonstop. That's pretty much all of my likes and dislikes about the game. It seems... I'm hesitant to put a number to it. But at the end of the day, I really do feel like it fell short of trying to break into the AAA status like the Halos and the Call of Duties and the Battlefields. I feel like it rests between like the semi-crappy free-to-play shooters that everybody knows about that aren't so good, but people play them because they're free. And don't get me wrong, there are some amazing free-to-play shooters. But then it's above those, but not quite to the status of the top tier. It's just going to rest there in the middle. Probably be overlooked by the majority of the gamers. And Gut Instinct review at the very end of the day, I'm glad I didn't personally spend my $60 to purchase the game. It just was not that good for me. I don't see myself playing it for very long here with other games coming out on the horizon. So, you know, that's just not for me. If I had to give it an absolute number, I would go 6.5 out of 10, I think. Maybe up to a 7.5, somewhere in that range if they do some balancing on the weapons and the map spawn trapping. May have to revisit that at a future date. Alright, this concludes my review of Medal of Honor Warfighter. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you agree, disagree, hate my guts, tell me to go back to COD, you noob, whatever. Let me know. I'll be curious to see the response to this video. Take care, guys, and thank you once again, Gamersgate and G2PO, for allowing me to provide this review. Take care, guys.